Have you ever witnessed a moment so dazzling, so unexpected that the entire world seems to pause? What if I told you that BTS's Kim Tae-young, better known as V, didn't just attend Celine's 2025 fashion show in Paris, but owned it, turning the red carpet into something beyond fashion, beyond fame, something unforgettable? Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and even seasoned reporters seemed lost for words. But behind those blinding lights and tailored perfection, was there something more, something deeper hidden in the way he smiled, walked, or even stood still for a second too long? The heart of Paris has seen elegance in every form, but nothing quite like this. On a crisp October evening, the grand entrance of Celine's fashion show turned into a scene of electric anticipation. Rumors had already started hours before Taehyung's arrival, whispers about a surprise guest, a black-suited icon, a man whose presence could silence the crowd. No one expected that those whispers would materialize into the stunning figure of BTS's V stepping out from a sleek black car, his gaze calm yet commanding, his every movement a slow-burning symphony of confidence and grace. The fans who had waited since dawn erupted into tears and cheers as he appeared. Their voices trembled, cameras shook, and even the Parisian night seemed to glow brighter under his presence. But here's the real question. What made this moment feel different? Why did it feel like V wasn't just attending a fashion show, but making a statement, one that no one could fully decipher? For years, Kim Tae-young has been known for his effortless elegance, his natural blend of artistry and mystery. Yet this time, something in his aura hinted at change, a quiet transformation. As he walked the red carpet, reporters caught glimpses of something unspoken in his eyes, a softness, a distance, or perhaps a secret. His outfit, designed exclusively by Celine's creative director Celine, wasn't just fashion, it was storytelling. A perfectly tailored black velvet suit, adorned with subtle gold accents, paired with a sheer silk shirt that caught the light with every flash of the camera. The symbolism didn't go unnoticed. Gold, the color of triumph. Black, the color of mystery. Was V telling the world something without saying a word? The crowd didn't just see an idol that night, they saw an icon standing between the world of music and haute couture, merging both into a single, breathtaking reality. It's like he doesn't walk, he floats, one journalist whispered as Taehyung made his way across the crimson carpet, pausing briefly for photos before giving a small, knowing smile that sent the crowd into chaos. Inside the event, the tension rose even higher. Models, designers, and celebrities turned their heads the moment he entered. Cameras followed him not just because of who he was, but because of what he radiated. There was an undeniable aura, an almost cinematic stillness that made even the flashiest outfits in the room fade in comparison. But the mystery deepened when fans noticed something unusual. Taehyung wasn't accompanied by any of his usual team members. No visible entourage, no translator, no manager shadowing him, just him, walking alone under the chandeliers of Paris. Why? Could this appearance mark a new chapter for him? Perhaps something far beyond the stage, beyond BTS, beyond what fans think they know? What added to the intrigue was his interaction with Celine. Cameras captured a brief but intense exchange between the two, a handshake, a quiet conversation, and then a rare smile from Taehyung that seemed to hold weight. Was it professional courtesy? Or the start of something larger, perhaps even a new collaboration that could redefine his image in the fashion world? Later, during the show, every time the lights dimmed and spotlights changed, fans around the world watching the full FanCam 2025 couldn't take their eyes off him. Social media exploded with clips, each one zooming in on his expressions, his subtle reactions, the way he tapped his fingers to the rhythm of the runway music. Some said he looked emotional, others said he looked distant. And then, there were those who swore they saw him wipe the corner of his eye at one point. Was it the music, the memories, or perhaps something only he knew? Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok burned with hashtags. Number V at Celine 2025. Number Taehyung in Paris. Number Celine Boy returns. Number V red carpet magic. Within minutes, millions of fans around the world turned the Paris event into a global phenomenon. Clips of him stepping out of the car alone, his black-gloved hand adjusting his collar, and that one iconic glance over his shoulder all went viral within hours. But again, the question lingered. Why did this particular appearance feel like more than fashion? Why did it feel like a farewell, or maybe a new beginning? For those who have followed Taehyung's artistic evolution, the emotional undertone wasn't hard to sense. After months of silence, rare updates, and whispers about personal projects, this reappearance seemed deliberate. Like a statement of rebirth, refined, matured, and completely in control. Yet, behind that confidence, fans felt a current of sadness. Something raw and almost invisible. As the show concluded, cameras caught the moment Taehyung stood and applauded slow, graceful, and silent. He bowed slightly toward the runway before exiting through a side corridor, away from the chaos. No interviews, no after-party photos, just the echo of his footsteps and the fading flashes behind him. That was when fans realized he had once again mastered the art of leaving questions behind. What was he thinking as he left that room? What story was hidden behind those calm, unreadable eyes? Could this be the sign of a new creative path, perhaps a deeper collaboration with Celine, or even a solo artistic venture connected to fashion, photography, or film? Even hours after he left, Paris couldn't stop talking. Fashion insiders described his presence as hauntingly elegant. A Vogue editor tweeted, "When V walks into a room, fashion feels different." French reporters compared him to classic movie icons, a mix of James Dean and Yves Saint Laurent, timeless, untouchable, yet deeply human. As dawn broke over the Seine, fans were still gathered outside Celine's venue, replaying fan cams and crying softly, overwhelmed by emotion they couldn't fully explain. "It felt like he was saying goodbye," one fan wrote. Another replied, "No, it felt like he was beginning something." Both could be right. Because with Kim Taehyung, nothing is ever one-dimensional. Every glance, every outfit, every pause carries layers of emotion and artistry. His arrival at Celine's 2025 fashion show wasn't just another celebrity appearance, it was an event, a story told through silence, style, and soul. And now, as the world replays that full fan cam, frame by frame, breath by breath, one question remains: what will he do next? Was Paris the stage for a hidden message to fans? Was it a quiet declaration that something monumental is about to unfold? Or was it simply V, being V, the man who turns every ordinary moment into art and every appearance into emotion? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain on that night in Paris. Under the golden lights of Celine, Kim Taehyung didn't just attend a fashion show. He wrote a moment in history. Could that phrase have been chosen intentionally? Was it Celine's poetic acknowledgement of what Taehyung represented, a silent revolution in an industry that often shouts for attention? Or was it his own quiet message to the world, a reminder that true confidence doesn't need noise, that true artistry doesn't need explanation? By morning, every major fashion magazine had him on their front page. Vogue Paris called him the embodiment of living art. GQ France described him as the new definition of allure. And Elle Korea went further, writing, "Kim Taehyung doesn't wear fashion, he becomes it." Meanwhile, fans noticed a subtle detail that sent chills across fandoms. The small gold ring he wore on his right hand during the red carpet, the same one he had been seen wearing in previous behind-the-scenes photos months ago. Was it a sentimental token? A lucky charm? Or a connection to someone or something meaningful in his private life? The internet buzzed with possibilities. Some fans recalled his past interviews where he mentioned that jewelry often represents his emotional anchor. Was that ring a symbol of something we weren't supposed to see? Back in Seoul, news outlets scrambled to cover every angle of his Paris appearance. Analysts noted that Taehyung's attendance at Celine wasn't just a celebrity cameo, it was a calculated, symbolic move in the world of fashion diplomacy. His relationship with Hedy Slimane dates back years, but the timing of his return after months of low public activity suggested something bigger. Insiders began whispering about a potential Celine campaign for 2025, possibly centered entirely around him. But then came the surprise that no one expected. A leaked schedule from an internal Parisian fashion registry revealed that a private photo shoot had been booked under a pseudonym eerily similar to Taehyung's initials, just one day after the show. The location? A private mansion near Montmartre, known among artists as a historical hub for painters, poets, and dreamers. The theme? Reflections of silence. Fans couldn't contain themselves. Could this be the continuation of the Celine XV story? Or was it part of something even grander, perhaps an artistic project, tied to his solo identity, bridging fashion, film, and music? Meanwhile, fan cams from inside the show continued to surface, each revealing new hidden moments. In one clip, Taehyung could be seen nodding along to the music, mouthing words softly as if remembering something. In another, he appeared to close his eyes briefly during a particularly emotional instrumental piece. To some, it looked like he was lost in the rhythm of the art. To others, it looked like he was saying goodbye to a version of himself that no longer exists. Hours later, an anonymous insider from the event told Le Monde, "You could feel it in the air. When V walked in, people didn't just see him, they felt him. It wasn't celebrity energy. It was something spiritual, magnetic. It was art in motion." By the next evening, flights departing Paris listed one mysterious passenger under a private booking with initials KTH. That was all it took for airports, fans, and even journalists to rush toward Charles de Gaulle, hoping to catch one last glimpse of him before his departure. But the mystery deepened when several eyewitnesses reported that he didn't use the main terminal. He was seen leaving through a private gate, stepping into a car that disappeared into the rain-soaked Paris night. No one saw him again after that. Not in airports, not in hotels, not in restaurants. It was as if he had vanished, leaving behind only whispers, images, and questions. But then, 3 days later, another shock hit. Celine released a cryptic teaser video across their global platforms. It was only 15 seconds long. The camera panned across Paris rooftops, ending on a man standing in front of a window, his silhouette illuminated by moonlight. A familiar voice murmured softly in the background, deep, soothing, unmistakably Taehyung's. The words were simple, but haunting. "Every silence has a story." The screen faded to black, followed by the text, "Celine x V, Paris 2025, coming soon." The world stopped. Social media exploded in tears, theories, and disbelief. Fans screamed, cried, and laughed at once, realizing that the mysterious night, the quiet walk by the Seine, the ring, the backstage silence, it was all part of a story unfolding in real time. A living narrative, woven through fashion, emotion, and art. But what does "every silence has a story" really mean? Was it a reflection of his personal growth? A poetic metaphor for everything he's endured and learned since his global rise with BTS? Or was it a foreshadowing a deeper creative message about the next chapter of his journey, one that fans still can't fully grasp? As days passed, Celine's teaser reached over 100 million views, the fastest engagement in the brand's history. Luxury analysts began calling it the Taehyung effect, a phenomenon where emotion and aesthetics collide so naturally that they transcend industry boundaries. Even now, fans replay the fan cams from that night not just to admire the fashion, but to feel something. The soft turn of his head, the flicker of gold from his ring, the look in his eyes when the flashbulbs dimmed every frame feels like poetry. Every silence feels intentional. And as the world waits for the Celine X5 Paris 2025 reveal, one thing becomes clear. Taehyung didn't just walk a red carpet. He wrote a masterpiece without words, one that continues to unfold with every heartbeat, every rumor, every second of quiet anticipation. Because when Kim Taehyung walks into a room, fashion stops being fabric. It becomes emotion. And when he leaves, silence stops being empty. It becomes a promise.